Welcome to Scott Cooks, everybody. Today we'll be making pork chops with a mushroom onion gravy, all in the Ninja Foodi. We've got a couple little things we're going to do here to make it a little different, and I think you're going to enjoy it. This is pretty easy. A lot of little steps involved, but not a whole lot of work. Let's get started. All right, let's go over the ingredient list. First thing you're going to need is some pork chops, preferably some thicker ones. These are about a ½ inch thick or so. The thin ones will do it, but the thicker ones are going to do better for this recipe because we're going to actually do a little pressure cooking. You're going to need a half an onion or so, can of cream of mushroom soup, condensed, salt and pepper, you know what I'm going to use. You're going to need a little cornstarch. You're going to need a little olive oil. You're going to need a little beef broth, and we're going to use a little minced garlic. And the only thing you can't see out here because it's still in the fridge is we're going to use butter too, a couple tablespoons of butter. Let's go ahead and get started. We're going to sear saute the pork chops, pull them out, start to make our gravy. Oh, and of course the mushrooms, which are in the fridge as well, I'm sorry. And we're going to make our gravy and get the chops back in. This is going to be so good. And you guys, you are going to need your favorite mushrooms as well. These were in the fridge. I forgot to show you. Okay, let's go. Go ahead and turn your Foodi on. Put it on sear saute. Lower your temperature to medium and turn it on. Add to the pot 1 tablespoon of butter. That's a little more, but it's what I had left. And 1 tablespoon of olive oil. Now I'm using a special olive oil today to add a little more flavor to it. You may have seen this in some of my other recipes. So we're going to put a tablespoon of that in there. And we're going to go ahead and let that butter melt. Once your butter melts, get it all stirred around, mixed in with the oil. Go ahead and get your pork chops in. We want to get these things seared up, brown on both sides. Can we get 5 in there? Tight squeeze, but we can get 5 in there, guys. They're going to shrink down a little bit too. You go ahead and season them with your favorite seasoning, salt, pepper, or whatever you got. For this dish, because we're putting so much beef broth and mushroom in it, I wouldn't do much more than salt and pepper. Maybe a little of this Himalayan here. Because the other ingredients are going to add an awful lot of flavor. And that's all we're going to do. We're just going to brown this up on both sides, and then we're going to get them out for a minute. Then we're going to put them back in. All right, go ahead and flip these guys over. Remember, we're not trying to cook them through. We're trying to brown them. And I want to show you what I'm after. I got a perfect brown edge on that. And that is what we're looking for. And when you see that, it's time to flip and get that brown on the other side as well. And that took about 6 or 7 minutes to get that level of brown that we're looking for there. And the pan is a whole lot hotter than when we started, so it probably won't take as long on this side. And obviously we're going to season this side as well, guys. Make sure you put the same seasoning on both sides for consistency. And there's nothing wrong with good old cracked pepper and some coarse sea salt if that's all you got handy. And I use it all the time. You don't have to go with the fancy stuff. But the fancy stuff is oh so good. Anyway, let's let them brown up and I'll show you the next step. All right, guys, once you got the other side browned up, we're gonna go ahead and pull those chops because we gotta get something else going in the pan here right now. Beautifully browned. And this is what we're after. You see the bits and pieces down still in the pot. That's why we're doing what we're doing. We want those bits and pieces. Do not clean that out, y'all. You want that in there for this. All right, next go ahead and get yourself another tablespoon of butter in there. Make sure you're still on sear saute medium. And we're going to add in the onions, the mushrooms, and the garlic. And you don't really need to chop your onion for this one. Leave it in strips because this is going to cook down in the pressure cook, and we want long strips out of it. I mean, you can break them down like that if you want, but we want long strips out of this thing. Okay. Just whatever mushrooms you guys are using, this is the time. Go ahead and dump them in. And your garlic, a little, a lot, whatever you want. About a half a tablespoon here. And we want to stir this up. Get things all good and sauteed. Start breaking down those mushrooms a little bit. Get a tiny bit of translucence on the onions. And once that's done, we're going to start in with our next ingredients. So I'll bring you back here in about 2 or 3 minutes. All right, once you got your veggies down, I'm going to get that whole can of soup in there. Condensed, just the way it is. Don't add any water to the can, just the way it is. And we're going to put 2 cups of beef broth in. And bring this whole thing back up to a simmer again. A little seasoning. Change your temperature from medium to medium high. We get a wooden spoon for that. Be a little easier. All right, let's go ahead and get this to a simmer and get it all combined. Make sure you get that soup well mixed. No chunks. And the warmer you get it, the easier it is to mix. We'll just let that heat up a little bit. All right, once you got your pork chops, once you got your gravy sizzling away in there, we're gonna get those pork chops back in. Just nestle them right down in there. If there's any mushrooms underneath, just kind of scoot them out the way. You don't have to submerge them, but you want to get them nestled down in the liquid pretty good, y'all. There we go. And now we're going to add our pressure lid. Make sure you put it on seal. Change this over to pressure, high, and we want 12 minutes. Now it's going to come up to pressure really fast because we were just boiling liquid in there. 12 minutes, and then we're going to do a natural pressure release for 10 minutes. That means don't do anything. 12 minutes under pressure, it's going to go beep, and then just kick back for 10 minutes, and then we'll release the pressure. So I'll see you guys back in about 22 minutes. All right, once you've got that 10-minute natural pressure release out of the way, go ahead and release the pressure. Use something other than your hand so you don't get burned on that. All right, once you got your lid off, all you got to do is go ahead and pull them pork chops out. Now be careful, guys. These have been under pressure for a long time. They will fall apart on you. These are really tender now. Try to keep all the onions and mushrooms in the pan for now, if you can. Let's make some gravy. 3 tablespoons of cornstarch. 1. Alright guys, that gravy is just about finished up. But before we dig into that, let's check this pork chop out and see how we did. Look at that, I don't think I need a knife. That just flaked right off. Very nice. Let's give that a little taste test without the gravy. See how it did. Super tender, really good. Actually is some of the beef flavor has imparted into it from the beef broth. Let's get some gravy on it. Well, there you have it, guys. Pretty quick and easy. Pork chops seared in the Ninja Foodi, pressure cooked in the Ninja Foodi, and then with the gravy itself, and then we thicken the gravy up. There's a ton of flavors going on here. It is fantastic, and I want to thank everybody for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. Please hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, hit the bell for notifications, share the video, and I'll see you guys soon on the next video.